Hey there, and welcome. In this quick explainer, we're going to nail down how to build perfect past simple sentences, especially when it comes to the tricky parts, negatives and questions.
All right, let's just jump right in with a super common mistake a lot of people make when they're learning English. It's a tiny little detail, but trust me, getting it right is a total game changer. So take a look at this sentence. They didn't liked the movie. Something's a little off, right? Don't worry, we're going to circle back to this one at the very end. First, let's break down the rules so you can spot and fix this kind of thing yourself, every single time.
Okay, first things first, a quick but super important heads up. You know how most past tense verbs end in ed? Well, a ton of the most common ones don't follow that rule. They're irregular. And these guys, you just got to memorize them. Here are a few you'll see all the time. All right, so let's get back to tackling that mistake we saw earlier by looking at our first key structure, how to make negative sentences in the past. Okay, this right here, this is the secret weapon. This is the formula you need. And the two magic words to focus on are didn't, and this is the big one, base form. This is exactly where people get tripped up. And here's a perfect example of how that works. We say, we didn't attend. Notice that? It's not attended. See, the word didn't is already doing all the heavy lifting for the past tense, so the main verb doesn't have to.
This is the one thing you have to remember. Seriously, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this rule. Once didn't shows up in a sentence, the verb gets to relax and go right back to its original, simple form. No ed, period.
Awesome, so you've got negatives down, right? Now let's use that exact same idea to build questions. You know, the ones that ask for information with words like what, where, or when. Are you starting to see the pattern here? It's pretty much the same deal. Instead of didn't, we use the little helper verb did to show we're asking a question in the past. And guess what happens to the main verb? You got it. It goes right back to its base form.
Check this out. We ask, what did you study, not what did you studied. That did takes care of the past tense part, so study just gets to be study. Simple, right? Okay, so we've gone over the rules and you've seen the examples. Now it's time to put you to the test. Let's see what you've got. All right, you ready? I'm going to throw a sentence up on the screen and I want you to fill in the blank. Try to say the answer out loud before I show it to you. Let's do this. All right, here's the first one. How would you make this a negative sentence? Remember that formula we just talked about? And the answer is didn't go. We use didn't and then the base form of the verb, which is just go. Awesome job if you got that. Okay, next up, a question. Think about the two key ingredients you need to make this work. And the correct answer is, what did you eat? We need that helper did to start the question and the base verb eat. You're really getting the hang of this. Okay, this next one's a bit of a curveball. It's a positive sentence, an affirmative one. And remember, when is one of those irregular verbs. And the answer is one. Because this is a positive statement, we just need the simple past form of that irregular verb. Big high five if you remembered that one. All right, here we are, the moment of truth. Let's go back to that very first sentence I showed you. Now that you know the rules, how do we fix this thing? And there you have it. The correct version is, they didn't like the movie. It all comes back to that one simple rule. After didn't, that verb has to go back to its original base form, like. So, when it all comes down to it, here's your simple checklist. For negatives, it's didn't plus the base form. For questions, it's did plus the base form. And for positive sentences, just don't forget to memorize those irregular verbs. If you can lock these three things in your brain, you'll be making perfect past simple sentences in no time. Okay, to wrap things up, here's a little challenge for you. I want you to actually use this right now. Think about it. What's one real thing you didn't do yesterday? Answering that question for yourself is the best way to make this knowledge stick. Thanks so much for tuning in.